Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dynasty After Dark. We're your hosts Calvin Timms and Dale Terry, and we're back with the second half of our Week 2 Dynasty preview. Just giving our fantasy analysis for Week 2 of the NFL season. Guys that we like, guys that we don't for this upcoming week. And, this is only our second time. If you watched our part 1 yesterday, you can know we dropped the first 8 games. You can leave some feedback if you want to on how you like the pacing, how you like what we're covering, what our thoughts are. And we appreciate all your guys' feedback. It definitely helps us out. But you can hit us up on Twitter at TDC_Calvin or at Dynasty_Dale. You can find the podcast at FF After Dark to leave those comments, or you can leave them on the Dynasty After Dark YouTube channel. If you go check out the video on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple, Google, anywhere that podcasts are really found, we'll listen to them there as well. So that said, Dale, how we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. It is Friday when this is coming out, and hopefully we had a good game Thursday night, and there was a lot of points scored, and that's all we can ever ask for in fantasy.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it was a banger, man. Back and forth, yes. Really ran up the score. No, we're pre-recording this a little bit. We're trying to get this done a little bit earlier. So if any news breaks here in the next couple of days, we're recording this Wednesday night, but just the way that our schedules work out, this is the best time to do it. So with that said, if there's any news that breaks here in the next couple of days, we will let you guys know with a separate video. And yeah, we're going to have a good time this upcoming week. Hopefully our analysis will help you win your matchups. I was pretty happy, I was 5-2 this week in redraft and dynasty. In my dynasty leagues, I was 4-2, 1-0 in redraft. But the only 2 that I lost are the ones that I probably should, the ones that are kind of in rebuild anyway. So it doesn't make me too sad to lose those games. So, I was able to. Everyone was talking. It was always so funny to me that in week 1, people are always like, oh, I don't know who to start. And I was actually watching the footballers, the fantasy footballers. Most people know them. If you haven't, go check them out. An amazing podcast. Very entertaining. That's what they're really known for. But on Monday, they were kind of doing studs and duds and everything, right? And they were like, who could have known to start Hunter Henry? I was like, dude, I started him in like 5 leagues because I knew he was going to pop off. He's the best receiver for the team, man. Like, I was like, I got the tight end 1 and I started him in 5 leagues because Hunter Henry is a beast, man. He's very good, and he's going to be a very key part of that offense. But it's always funny, like, I never could have seen that coming. It's like, how do I see this and you guys don't? You guys do this full time. Come on. Right. It's always so funny. Dynasty and fantasy in general, just so much personal bias in it. It's so baked in, but it's also what makes it fun, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So that said, we're going to get to the second 8 games. We're going to get to the last 1 o'clock game here. We're going to kick it off with that one, which is going to be the Chargers versus the Tennessee Titans. We're going to roll after that into the 4 o'clock, Sunday night, Monday night. I think there's 2 Monday games this week, actually. So
there are, yes.
It's going to suck, I think, because yeah, they start an hour apart. Like,
yeah,
why?
Yeah, like the first game's on ESPN and then the nenext is on ABC.
I'm so sick of West Coasters, man. Oh, the game starts at 5 o'clock. What am I gonna do?
I would much rather start at 5 o'clock, and then I don't have to stay up until midnight on a Monday night.
I know, right? But we're gonna have to do that anyway. So for the Cleveland Pittsburgh game, if you want to watch that game, it's gonna be a tough one. But we'll get to that game in due time. We're gonna start off with the Chargers Tennessee Titans. Now, break it down for me. How do you think this one's gonna go?
I think it's gonna be more competitive than what people think. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers charger and lose this game again.
They're going to win games at some point.
It's poetic. It is poetic how they do this to themselves
every
over and over and over.
year.
Yeah, but with Tennessee, like, their offense is bad. They're just bad on offense, and I really think the Chargers are going to score. Obviously, to win the game, you have to score more points or
kick more field goals.
But that's still scoring points.
True.
So honestly, I think the Chargers are going to win, and they're going to be very successful. And I wouldn't be shocked if Justin Herbert has a very solid game, because
he was good last week in a loss.
Yeah. He was quarterback 6 on the week last week. So
I found it hilarious, watching that game that Justin Herbert and Justin Herbert versus the Dolphins, and Kellen Moore, man, all these Kellen Moore fans out there, he's so creative at creating play design, and he creates some amazing play design, but his ability to string plays together is so awful. It's so bad, and it's gonna be funny. We'll see what happens this week, but yeah, I do think that it's gonna be a very low key competitive game. I don't know if the Chargers are gonna be able to stop Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry might just legitimately run over this team. Obviously you're starting Justin Herbert. I am not starting Ryan Tannehill.
No, I'm not either.
I would much rather start Baker Mayfield. I would rather start Jared Goff, Geno Smith, all those guys over Ryan Tannehill right now. He was bad last week, and I know New Orleans has a good defense, but yeah, I'm out on him.
It was pretty gross overall. He was quarterback 30 on the week.
Yeah, it was not great.
So that's pretty bad.
Yep, they just don't have the weapons, man. No. Now, running back wise, I heard Austin Eckler is kind of banged up, so he might miss this game. So we will, again, we'll check out our Twitter, FF After Dark. We'll, any news, breaking news, we'll be following it there. So come and give us a follow over there. But Austin Eckler, if he's in, he's a stud. If he's not in, 100%. Joshua Kelly looked very, very good last week. I was very impressed with Joshua Kelly. I was always a big Isaiah Spiller, but if Austin Eckler's out, I think Isaiah Spiller has the opportunity to be active for this game,
right? And
that's where we can 100%. Maybe see what he has in the tank. But I'd be interested in Joshua Kelly as a low end RB2 with some potential upside as well. He was decent last week. Derrick Henry, I think, must start in this one. Tajay Spears, on the other hand, I think
he's interesting because he did get 4 targets. And,
he outsnapped Derrick Henry as well.
Yes, he did, which is shocking. So, I think he can be really interesting. And I probably wouldn't start him yet because I don't think the usage is going to be there.
Right. But just something to watch, though, for sure, especially for Dynasty. With this being a Dynasty 100%. Podcast, just somebody to stash on your bench there. Wide receiver wise, we're gonna start Keenan Allen just fine. Yep. Mike Williams, he had 5 targets last week, only 4 catches. He played 70% of snaps, but he did miss a decent chunk because he got hit with a pretty bad hit. Looked like a concussion, I believe, or a back injury. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what he got banged up with. Opened the door for Quentin Johnston to get a little bit of play time, but unfortunately, Quentin Johnston is just the number 4 for the team right now. I do think it's kind of dumb. Like, Quentin Johnston, you drafted him in the first round. He's going to be better than Joshua Palmer. He's just going to be better. Yeah, he might be. It might be a little rocky and it might be a little rough, and you need to give him some of that play time. But just, guys, get him out there. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Well, it takes players usually like at least half the year to get really used to an offense.
I get it, but I'm just saying, get him the play time.
I would still expect Quentin Johnson to have more play time and to be more relevant towards the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll see. Just somebody to watch. So. Again, if Mike Williams gets banged up again, it just opens the door, and Mike Williams 100%. Gets banged up a lot. Are you starting Mike Williams in this matchup?
I probably am not. I think the only players I really want to it's the only wide receivers I want to start are Keenan Allen and DeAndre Hopkins. Those are the only. I only want to start Hopkins because of the potential.
He gets targeted like crazy, so
target share. Yeah. That'd be the only reason.
Volume.
And then he actually did miss practice today. It's with an ankle injury, so that's something to monitor a little bit.
I think that Hopkins at this point in his career, he's probably getting a veteran rest day. They're going to give those guys a lot of Wednesdays off, I'm sure. Mike Williams, I am willing to start him. Unlike Dale, if just for an upside play, if you're going for a big week, I think that Mike Williams is the guy that can do that. But yeah, Keenan Allen, Hopkins, Mike Williams, walk out. I'm not, Donald Parham for the tight ends. We can switch over to those guys. I'm not starting Chig. I don't trust him yet.
Unfortunately not. And with him only having 2 targets last week,
it was not great.
It was not. And I will say for the it's for the Titans wide receivers. If Hopkins doesn't play, I would be interested in starting Treylon Burks, only because he's like the only guy there.
Fair enough.
It's really the only reason, and he's gonna get. Anyways,
Gerald Everett versus Donald Parham. Are we starting Parham? I think think that Parham is the number 1 for this team.
That's fair.
But I don't
probably
really
start
not
any of them. I
fair.
Don't think. Yeah,
just see how it kind of develops this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I just kind of want to see how it goes and then go from there.
Yeah, if Parham gets targeted a lot, we know that Kellen Moore likes to use the tight end in his offenses, so just keep an eye on that. I think that Parham has the potential to have a massive role for this team, but if you're in Dynasty, go trade for him cheap now, and if he develops into that, you might be able to get somebody that's a potential starter for very, very cheap. So just a little piece of advice there. Going on to the 4 o'clock games, we're going to go into a dome here. We're going to be playing the Giants versus the Cardinals. Now, that game that the Giants played last week, we weren't able to take anything from that, man.
It was abysmal.
That was rough.
Like, I did not think they showed up or like they got off the bus. I think it was all their corpse showed up, and then they were just just there.
Dallas took that rivalry to the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was bad.
It was not great. Daniel Jones, are you willing to start him at all? Arizona defense actually looked pretty good last week, and I would be off of Daniel Jones.
I feel they played well because of a subpar offensive performance from the Commanders.
Yeah, but I mean, what's the difference between them and the Giants, though? The offensive line. I think the Giants have a worse offensive line.
Fair. So yeah, I mean, I'm in a 2 quarterback league. I will start Daniel Jones.
Okay.
I feel I'm kind of streaming at that point if he's my quarterback too. Anyways,
yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm kind of doing that in a redraft league right now. Like it's gonna be him or Jared Goff. I'm probably gonna start Jared Goff.
Oh, 100% for me. Yeah,
I'm going to do that because I can't have another week of Daniel Jones.
I'm starting Mayfield over Daniel Jones personally.
Yikes.
Like it would be if it was me, that's where I'm at.
So but overall, I'm not starting either of these quarterbacks. I don't want Joshua Dobbs near my team.
Nope.
Not at all. Like he actually scored less than a point last week.
It was he's better than Antonio Gibson, who was negative. So let's go on to the skill players here for these teams. Like James Conner, I think he's low key startable, but I think he's gonna. Yes, I'm not excited about it.
He is startable, but he did have he is on the injury report with a calf injury.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to look at. Other than that, I mean, if he doesn't play, maybe you might get frisky with Deontay Ingram.
No, I think there's better options.
I'm not either. I'm not either. And then for the Giants, the only
Barkley
running back I'll start is Barkley, and I think Barkley is going to have a fantastic game.
They looked good on the ground last week before the defense just Daniel Jones all over the place, right? But pass catcher wise, the problem with this for the Giants, it started at your own risk because we weren't able to see anything last week because the team was so bad. Like even Darren Waller, who everyone was excited about, was not able to do much. It was rainy as well. So start these guys at your own risk. Darren Waller is on the injury report. He's having some nerve issues. I believe I read. It's manageable, but it's not a great sign at all.
Well, it's actually his hamstring.
But isn't it affecting the nerve? Isn't that what I saw? The same thing that Cooper Kupp has, except he just doesn't have the hamstring.
It could be. I'm not
sure. So it's just concerning, but they say it's manageable. So I'm not starting any of these Giants receivers unless you absolutely have to. Like I have to start Paris Campbell this week, but I don't love it. I'm not going to
start any of them either. All of them are pretty gross, and all of them are projected about the same points. So it's really going to be a toss up on who you like and. because of last week's game.
Are you starting any receivers for the Cardinals?
No.
Yep, no. That's how I'm kind of.
I don't like. I think if Kyler comes back this year, I'll probably start Hollywood Brown. That'd be the only one.
Yep. I think Michael Wilson with Kyler could be interesting as well. But
absolutely. But I'm waiting until Kyler gets back to even think about starting a wide receiver.
Fair enough. Yeah, we'll learn a lot. We weren't able to learn a lot about these two teams last week, and we won't learn a lot about Arizona until Kyler is back. But the Giants, we just literally learned nothing last week at all. So
on that too, I would probably still start Waller, and just monitor.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I actually wouldn't be against starting Zach Ertz. In all honesty,
I would, but
I mean, I feel if you have very few options at tight end, I think he can be sneaky good.
Sure,
it's
maybe
this week because they're gonna have to throw the ball. I mean, I would hope they would try to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather start Parham personally. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of leaning. So. Yeah. But you're not wrong. There is some potential sneaky value there for Zach Ertz. Going into the next 405 game here, we're going to talk about the Niners versus the Rams. Rams came out pretty hot last week. They looked pretty good.
Shockingly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we'll talk about some of these guys. Matt Stafford is going to have to run for his life. The Seattle defense was not able to put any pressure on them. Meanwhile, the Niners defense just absolutely butchered the Pittsburgh offensive line, and I think they're going to do the same. Everyone's excited about Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell and Kyron Williams and these guys. It's going to be a long day, I think, for the Rams. I am not starting Matt Stafford in this matchup unless I absolutely have to.
No, not either.
I would probably start Daniel Jones over Matt Stafford. That's how scared I am for Matt Stafford this week. That defense is no joke. Brock Purdy, I think Brock Purdy's going to be pretty good, actually.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting Purdy. I'm not starting. I mean, unless I absolutely had to, it would be Matt Stafford. I would start Matt Stafford, but he would be I would almost want to put somebody else in my in that super flex position. Yeah. So on the running backs, you're starting Christian McCaffrey. Do you start Cameron Akers? And the answer is going to be no for both of us, I'm sure. But
yeah,
it was so
not
bad
against the
last
Niners.
Week,
not against the Niners.
It was so bad last week. He had 35% of the snap share, and he had 22 attempts on 29 yards.
I think there's better days ahead for Cam Akers.
I do too. But it was just so bad last week, and I'm not starting any running back for the Rams.
Yeah, I actually think that Kyron Williams is low key startable. As a low end RB2,
right.
And it's just because of the passing work. I think that's literally going to be about it. But yeah, I think that on the ground, these two are going to struggle pretty heavily. Receiver wise, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting.
Brandon Ayuk, I am taking this victory lap right now. I'm taking this victory lap right now. I told you that he's going to be the wide receiver 1.
We'll see.
He's going to be the favorite of Brock Purdy.
He was the game plan receiver 1 for week 1.
That's true. That is true, but I did see it last week. So
I know.
I'm taking my victory lap early.
Debo's still startable, I think. He was decent last week. Ayuk just had the 2 touchdowns, and that's what kind of really spiked his week. There's going to be weeks where Debo gets 2 touchdowns and Ayuk gets none. It's just going to go back and forth, but I think both are startable for sure. On the flip side, though, are you starting Puka? I think at this point we know Van Jefferson and Tutu. He's not predictable. It's not repeatable. But Puka, though,
5'9". He's 5'9".
He's 155.
I swear he was 5'6".
He's one. Yeah, the scary part is 155 though.
So I'm sorry. Yeah, but I probably am going to start Puka. I don't feel comfortable with it.
I think the volume's going to be there though. In a full PPR, I think
it's only because of volume. Only because of volume.
Yeah, I think he has a pretty high ceiling just because of that, but I think people are going to be disappointed based on all the fab that I've seen 100%. Spent on Puka this last week. Yeah, now, tight end wise, I think Kittle, he's going to have good weeks, he's going to have bad weeks. We saw that with Brock Purdy too. If he's getting the touchdown, he's going to have a good week. And last week they just all went to CMC and Ayuk. This week they could all go to Kittle and and Deebo Samuel. We have no idea. It's just the annoyance of a 49ers skill player, right?
It is. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I'm still starting Kittle.
Yeah.
Tyler Higbee, I think there could be some potential with that.
I agree. I actually agree with that.
I mean, he's pretty solid, and I think until Cooper Kupp comes back, and there's an actual number one in this offense other than a day 3 pick. That I think he's gonna be solid. Like, I mean, shockingly, he only had 3 targets. So
yeah, that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah,
but they got up early, so I don't know if they just didn't need to. You know what I mean? So just something to monitor there. But I do think that there's going to be good weeks and bad weeks from Higbee as well. 100%. Let's go on to the next one here. This one's going to be a quick analysis here. It's going to be a bloodbath. This one's going to be interesting because both of these defenses are so good. It's going to be the New York Jets versus the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas, in the Dome. And dude, I don't even know.
See, the worst part about this game is it's going to be on a primetime slot, and everybody in America is going to watch how bad Zach Wilson is at playing quarterback, and Calvin's is gonna defend him.
Dude, I know he's gonna be bad this week. This is not the week to watch Zach Wilson. This is not the week you want to watch Zach Wilson. It's gonna get worse before it gets better for this kid. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna have Rodgers. Rodgers is getting surgery this week, so he's not gonna be there to coach him up or anything like that. And it's against the Dallas defense, which is just absolutely disgusting. So, basically, I'm not starting a Jet. And unless I absolutely have to, I get it. Breece Hall is very, very good. So is Saquon Barkley, and he got destroyed last week against Dallas. Like, this offensive line for the Jets is not good, and it's going to be a problem going into this game. And, I like Breece Hall. I think that he's going to be a good player. This is not the week that you want to start him. Same with Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard.
I feel that Dallas played a near perfect game last week, and I don't think it's going to go near.
I don't see what's going to change though. They're not going to have the picks.
I don't disagree, but I think I have Breece Hall in the same feeling as like a Dameon Pierce and a Josh Jacobs.
I mean, low end RB2 is what I'm kind of expecting from him.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be good. You're not going to love it.
No.
It's going to be busting off a 70-yard run again, right?
Exactly. And which I wouldn't be shocked if he did.
He could. That defensive front for Dallas.
I'm not starting Dalvin Cook at all. I'm going to kind of wait and see.
Are you starting Garrett Wilson? I'm not, unless I absolutely with Zach Wilson and this defense. I am not, dude. Breece Hall has the explosiveness where you put the ball in his hands and he can pop off a 70-yard run. Getting the ball to Garrett Wilson's hands is going to be the problem in this game.
I know.
I'm not.
I still think I will. I think
glutton for punishment.
Have faith. I am, unfortunately, and I think he's going to have enough. As long as Zach Wilson can throw it in his catch radius, he'll be okay.
We'll see.
We'll see. And that is really hard for Zach Wilson.
Start Garrett Wilson at your own peril, man.
At your own risk. I agree.
All right, let's talk about Dallas here. Dak Prescott. I actually don't want to start Dak either this week, ironically. Again, just
he was pretty gross last week too. Like
Matt Stafford. I think that there's going to be better days ahead for Dak Prescott. Dak didn't need to do anything last week. He really didn't. Right. And I think that this defense for the Jets is going to be good enough that it's going to slow down this Dallas offense, but the Dallas defense is going to be so unstoppable that Jets aren't going to be able to get anything done. So, I think it's going to be just a low scoring game. I could see this being like 13-6 or something, that kind of win. And Dallas just doesn't really have to try that hard to get it done. And I think that Dak Prescott's going to be a little disappointing. I think Pollard might be okay in this game. But
I would start up Pollard. I know you have a hard on for the Jets defense, but
it's a good defense.
It is, but
their defensive front is what is so good. That's
true. That's true. But I'm still starting Pollard. I'm going to start CeeDee Lamb. I'm not, and after that, I'm not going to start anybody else. I'm not going to start Jake Ferguson. No, thank you.
He's a name to watch, though.
Yeah, he is. I agree with
just because of all the targets that he got last week. But yeah, don't start him unless you absolutely have to. So
absolutely have to.
Oh, dude, there's only 2 425 games. What is the NFL doing, man? Okay.
They are trying to torture us to watch. Well, it was aimed to be, Aaron Rodgers against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I get it.
But then he tore his Achilles in 4 plays, and now we have to deal with Zach Wilson the rest of the year, and have to listen to you talk about him.
Yes, you do. Starting in week 3 when he gets a lot better. That's what I'll actually talk about him. Dude, he's going to be bad. But I will say, I just want to say, Zach Wilson was a QB2 last week. He was top 24. He was top 24, man. He was like 22.
Go on, please. I cannot talk Zach Wilson anymore.
All right, let's go to our other 425 game. We're going to be talking about the Washington Commanders against the Denver Broncos. Denver's at home here, Mile High. I think this should give them a little bit more of an advantage. They were in Vegas last week, right?
Nope.
They were in Mile High?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, no. The problem with this, so here's the thing. Denver is getting absolutely massacred by injuries. We'll start about the quarterbacks. Russell Wilson was just fine though last week. He looked like old Russ a little bit. He wasn't able to get the win. I know they lost and all that stuff, but Russell Wilson is losing pass catchers like, they're just dropping like flies, man. But I do think that he's still startable. I like Russell Wilson this week against the Washington defense. I don't think it's that good of a defense. And they're at home. I think that gives them a pretty good advantage. And it's a big time gap, right? Washington going all the way to Denver as well. Sam Howell, he kind of disappointed last week, if I remember right.
He was actually QB 11.
Was he really?
Week. He was QB 11. Yes.
Oh wow! I overlooked him completely.
Yeah. It was a very underwhelming performance. I mean, it's what mainly helped him was his rushing touchdown.
Oh.
So is what catapulted him.
Yep.
So
I think I was looking at his passing stats and I was like, this is not that exciting.
It is not super good, but like he did have a rushing touchdown, which
fair enough. Are you starting Sam Howell?
Gosh, no.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Don't have the stones for that one.
I was very underwhelmed with what Washington did, especially when they played such a poor Arizona team, and like they very well could have lost that game.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you.
So I was more shocked about that than
learning curve for Eric Bieniemy for sure.
Yeah. So
running back wise though, you got Javonte, Samaje.
I mean, I honestly feel I'm okay starting Javonte Williams.
I'm okay starting Samaje, Javonte, and Brian Robinson. That's about it.
Yes. I am really sad about Antonio Gibson. I thought
we'll see. He fumbled. He fumbled in that game. He lost the fumble, and Ron Rivera is sick and tired of him fumbling the ball. He's kind of, I like Antonio Gibson, but if Ron Rivera is not a great head coach as it is, just calling it like I see it. And, if you're going to, he did this last year, right? He benched Antonio Gibson for fumbling. Antonio Gibson was his best player. He eventually brought him back, and Antonio Gibson was balling out at the end of that year, right? So this is not something we haven't seen before, but yeah, Brian Robinson playing as well as he did, we haven't seen that in the absence of Gibson, right? So, they kind of always had to go back to Gibson. I would love to see them trade Gibson. At this point, it's just not a match made in heaven. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Javonte, I think that he's going to be fine, especially with the loss of Greg Dulcich. They're down so many pass catchers, but they might be getting some reinforcements in Jerry Jeudy, which if they do.
The only problem with Jerry Jeudy is that an hour ago he was limited in practice because of a hamstring.
That's what he injured, right? That's why he was.
Right. Yeah, it is.
But the timetable on it was like 3. He had a mild hamstring injury, is what they said. When he got injured in the preseason, they always put the timetable at 3 to 4 weeks. This would be week 3, I believe, from when he injured it in preseason. A lot of people are saying that he's going to be coming back. Again, it's Wednesday when we're recording this, so most of these guys aren't going to push for practice time today. They're going to push for tomorrow or Friday to really get back out there and practice. So, Jerry Jeudy is a name to watch. If he's starting in this game, I'm starting him. Cortland Sutton was terrible last week. Marvin Mims was terrible last week.
if Jerry Judy's not playing, I'm starting Cortland Sutton.
No, I'm not.
He's going to be a wide receiver 1 by the end of the year, Calvin.
Sure.
My words.
Sure.
And you can keep this receipt.
You can hold your breath until that happens. We'll see how it goes.
I feel it's going to get better in Denver, and it's going to get. And I think there's going to be more. I think it's going to be the Cortland Sutton show in my opinion. And I'm okay taking the sword on that one, as long as you're okay taking the sword on Zach Wilson. Hey,
we gotta wait a couple weeks before I can take that sword, but sure.
Yeah, that's true.
But until then, you can let everybody let Dale know down in the comments how wrong he is on Cortland Sutton.
Please do. Please tell me. I would love to hear it.
On the other side, Washington, McLaurin, he should be getting healthy. I don't think he did a ton last week, if I remember right.
He played a lot of snaps, but
he just didn't get a lot of targets and usage and everything like that. So I expect him to be a little bit better this week, especially against Denver. I think he'll have a little bit of a better performance. Dotson, I think, as well, will have a little bit of a better performance. I'm willing to start. I would start McLaurin over Cortland Sutton.
I agree.
I would start Dotson over Cortland Sutton as well, personally, but it's kind of the limit there. That's kind of.
I would probably start Sutton over.
I'd actually probably start both of these guys over Garrett Wilson, to be honest with you. That's kind of how low I am on Garrett Wilson.
Stop your slander against Garrett Wilson. Anyways.
All right, tight end wise.
Tight ends. Logan Thomas
he was low key kind of good.
Yeah, he was low key sneaky. But I don't think Do
you like Troutman this week without Jerry Jeudy? Without Dulcich. Dulcich is out for a couple weeks, so I think Troutman has some sneaky potential.
I think Troutman could be really sneaky, and he has that rapport with Sean Payton.
Yep.
Where he feels comfortable playing him. So that would be my only reason. So if Jerry Jeudy's out, I would play Adam Troutman.
Okay, there we go. All right, the Sunday night game. The Miami Dolphins
Sunday night
against your team versus my team. We get to find out who's better. It's going to be me, so it's okay.
It's going to be my team because we're going to slaughter you guys.
Yeah, did you see what we did to the Super Bowl Philadelphia Eagles? If it wasn't for the stupid pick sick. Yeah.
I don't care. We're going to slaughter you guys. We're going to
torch you. We're going to torch you, Dale. It's going to be bad. You're going to cry.
Fun fact, Calvin. Tua's middle name I found out today is Donnie. I just had to share that fact with you.
TDT, baby.
I know. I just had to share that fact with you. And with that,
did you know that I got a fact for you? Did you know Mac Jones' first name is McCorkle? Yeah. What now?
I did know that, and I love that about him. But yeah. So, anyways,
fantasy wise, Tua's a great start, even against New England.
I am firing up Tua. I actually would start Mac Jones.
I agree. I've been saying this all offseason. Like, everyone called me crazy. Mac Jones, I said, one of my hot takes was he's going to finish as a quarterback 1.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go that hot takey, but
he was good last week. He was a quarterback 3.
He was good last week, but he also threw 54 times.
It's gonna happen again.
It's gonna have to probably. Yep. It's gonna have to because the Dolphins are freaking amazing.
Yeah, they're gonna score a lot of points.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to count the cart or catch the cart before whatever the saying is. But
the cart,
I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the Dolphins this year, and especially what they did last week against a playoff caliber team. And coming back and winning.
Until they charged, but all over themselves.
I know, but I don't care.
I know,
and I'm just really excited. So with that, it's for the running backs.
Are you starting any for Miami?
That's
I would not. I think that the New England defensive front is too good. Personally, I
think if I were to start one, it would probably be Mostert, but he is on the injury list right now. So
doesn't surprise me.
So I know I'm not surprised either.
Again, that could be with his age. The one thing we don't know, the veteran work day. If you want to give those guys a day off, you have to put them on the injury report. It's kind of dumb, but that's how it kind of goes.
So Yeah, so according to Cameron Wolf, of the NFL Network, like he did say that the absence was probably more related to like a maintenance related issue, which is
like why can't you just
typical.
why can't you just put that? You know what I mean? But whatever, you're not allowed to put maintenance day.
But are you wanting to start Stevenson?
I think Stevenson and Zeke are both good starts.
Fair enough.
I think Stevenson. I think that like the Miami front is not as good as it once was. So I think that you're going to be able to run on these guys. I mean, look at what the Chargers did last week. You didn't love to see it with, Justin Herbert. He's so good. Just throw the ball, especially with the receivers and everything that you have. But the Chargers were able to run all over Miami last week. And I think that both Zeke and Ramondre will be able to do that again in this one. So I'm starting both of them personally.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I would start Stevenson. I don't know about Zeke. I
think Zeke's gonna have a touchdown or two.
I love Zeke, and that's the only reason that you would start him is if
touchdown upside.
In the end zone.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. So
pass catchers, are you starting Tyreek?
The wide
obviously,
I am going to start him until he retires.
Right.
Please and thank you. I'm going to and then I'm starting him in Waddle. That's it on the
I
Miami
would be a little
side.
nervous about Waddle just because of Bill Belichick's ability to remove players from a game.
That's true.
I don't think he's going to be able to remove Tyreek. Tyreek's just too good. I do think he'll be able to remove Waddle from this game. Right. So I do think if you have better options, this might be a good week to sit Waddle. We all know that these receivers have down weeks, and I think this might be one of Waddle's personally. But
right.
I could be wrong on that. It could be maybe they're able to shut down Tyreek, but I just don't think so.
In his games last year against New England, he had 8 points in week 17, and in the first game of the year, he had 14. So, and then going back to his rookie year, he had 12 and 13. So,
and we've got better quarterbacks this year than we did last year. So start Waddle at your own peril, but he's kind of a risky one.
I probably still would start him, but I would rather have other options before Waddle, but I'm still starting him. I still am.
Like I would start Mike Williams over Waddle personally.
I would do the opposite. I think Mike Williams. I feel that game has a different dynamic.
Fair enough.
I think the Chargers are going to be up early, and they're not going to need him.
Fair enough. New England pass catchers. Kendrick Bourne balled out last week. Juju. Now I will say, everyone's kind of down on Juju after last week. After all the crap that Juju talked about the Eagles after the Super Bowl, I was not surprised in the slightest that they did everything in their power to completely shut out Juju last week. Like, he talked too much, man. Like the entire Eagles secondary hated his guts. They were not going to let him just do anything in this game. I do think that this is a low-key Juju game, just in a PPR league. I think he's going to have a good week. Kendrick Bourne, he can always pop off. That's kind of all I'm interested in these two guys.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I know Kendrick Bourne had the 2 touchdowns. I don't think that's going to happen again. I
agree.
I think the only pass catching people I would for the Patriots would be Juju and Hunter Henry.
Fair enough. I'm with you.
I am all over Hunter Henry.
Current tight end one in
tight end one,
leagues.
baby. So I wouldn't even start Mike Gesicki, which he only had 3 targets.
Yeah, he's
I'm
not good.
I'm more interested in Hunter Henry, and if Waddle does have a down game, Durham Smythe is.
He's somebody to watch. Him and Craycraft, those guys were sneaky last week. So just guys to keep on your radar. You're not starting them this week, but just keep them on your radar. See how they do this week. Yep. It could be an indication of what's to come. So this could be. I think this is a pretty good Sunday night game. Everyone always complains about these primetime games, but this actually should be a pretty good one. Nice and fun divisional battle, right? All right, the first Monday night game, New Orleans versus Carolina. Carolina's going to get destroyed in this game. It's not even going to be close. New Orleans' defense is disgusting. It's better than I thought it was. So I think that's going to be the main driver of this game. Derek Carr. Now, Carolina does still have a good defense. Not a great defense. It's not an elite defense, but it's good. I don't think Derek Carr's that good.
Here's my question. Would you rather start Derek Carr over Bryce Young?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. I was actually thinking Derek Carr or Matt Stafford. That's what I was kind of thinking of.
I would do Derek Carr all day.
Would you? Yeah, I agree. I actually agree with that. Yes.
I like Derek Carr more than you. Like you are a known Derek Carr hater.
Yep.
But I think he had, it was kind of clunky, but it was his first game. It was his first game with a new team.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he can do.
I'm not super worried about it. And then he was still quarterback 14.
I know. I just hate him. But yes, do not start Bryce Young. Do not. It's going to be bad. Yeah. That offensive line is a problem, and that defense for New Orleans is not a problem. Running back wise, Miles Sanders I think is kind of startable. That's about it for the Carolina side. I think it's going to be a rough game for Miles Sanders again until this offensive line starts to gel a little bit. It's not going to be good for anybody on this team, and they need some of these skill players back and healthy. On the New Orleans side, Kendre Miller, we'll see if he's healthy this week. I think he missed last week as well. Jamal wasn't anything special, but Tennessee is kind of a weird team anyway.
Yeah, it was just a weird game because like Tennessee does have a good defense.
They do. Well, they have a good head coach. I don't think they have a really good defense, but I think that Mike Vrabel is a good head coach, and he can get the most out of his guys. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
I definitely hear that.
Yeah, if you put like Brandon Staley on the Tennessee Titans, it's not going to be the same kind of defensive performance, you know?
It would be bad.
Yeah. So I will say that, but Jamal Williams, I think he can have a better day in this one. Kendre Miller, we're just waiting to see, you know? I'm not starting him this week.
I feel once Kendre Miller gets healthy for a couple weeks, I think he'll start to take over that back. But by then Alvin Kamara will be back. Mm-hmm. But we'll see what kind of rust Kamara has. Yeah,
and that's like 2 weeks from now, right?
Yeah.
Pass catchers. I do think this is going to be a better day for Michael Thomas. He was okay last week. He wasn't, you know, he started off kind of fast and then kind of slowed down in the second half. Chris Olave, maybe I'm wrong on Chris Olave.
Start him up. Wide receiver 10, baby. Start him up.
Maybe I was a little wrong on Chris Olave.
You were wrong, Calvin.
I'm not letting you victory lap this one until the end of the season. You have to hold off.
I'm not going to victory lap it yet, but he is the wide receiver one in this offense.
I agree. He definitely looks like it.
Yes, he definitely is. He has silky smooth routes. He is like Keenan Allen. He is Keenan Allen,
good,
but
man.
hasn't gotten hurt yet.
He's good.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, I think both of these guys are startable in this matchup for sure. Yep. Any pass catchers for the Carolina side? DJ Chark is someone to watch.
Yeah, I don't want any wide receivers.
Okay.
I do not want any wide receivers. The only pass catcher I want is Hayden Hurst.
I actually called this last week. I was talking to one of my coworkers. Yeah. He lost Travis Kelce and was looking for somebody off of waivers. And I was like, dude, Hayden Hurst is actually who I would pick up and start this week because I think that he's going to be low-key very good. He was good in training camp as well. He just wasn't reported on very much. And, I'm with you. The only one that I would like to start for Carolina is Hayden Hurst. Are we starting Juwan Johnson? Would you rather start him or Hayden Hurst?
Hayden Hurst all day. I like Hayden Hurst. I feel Hayden Hurst is very talented, and
I agree.
He's been good everywhere he's gone.
He's been serviceable. He's not an elite talent, but he's okay. So, all right, last game of the day, the weekend. Yay. The Cleveland Browns 1-0 versus the 0-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. Cleveland's going to win this. I'm just calling this now. Kenny Pickett's bad, and he's going to stay bad. Matt Cannon is bad, and he's going to stay bad. The defense for Cleveland is disgusting.
I do have to ask you, though, Calvin. If Kenny Pickett had bigger hands, would he be better?
No, I think he's just bad. So I don't think he has anything to do with the hands. I think he's just bad.
I had to ask.
He's just a bad player, so it's not going to change anything. He's still bad. So, hands don't make him a better player. His brain is broken. Deshaun Watson, I think he's actually going to be serviceable in this game. He was good last week anyway.
He looked pretty bad last week.
Yeah, but he was still the quarterback like 5.
It's because he had a rushing touchdown.
Doesn't matter. He's going to do it again.
It does matter. It does matter because he hawked one from my guy Nick Chubb.
He's going to do it again. He's always done it. He always does it.
But he was like he threw for like what 52%, 150 yards. That's gross.
I will say gross. it was. We'll see if it was just the weather. Gross. It was a wet game. But he didn't look great passing. I agree.
And then on top of that, like he had a pass right to a Bengals defender. Like he didn't like.
We'll see.
Like it was bad. Like I watched some of the highlights. It was bad. But I mean, I probably would still start Deshaun Watson. Unfortunately,
dude, he's not going to stop rushing. Like he's done that his whole career.
He's not.
And unfortunately for Nick Chubb, this is the problem with Nick Chubb. Deshaun Watson has never had a very, very good running back because he's so mobile and he steals them. Because Deshaun Watson, say what you want about the guy, he's smart. He is an intelligent guy, and he knows
at least
football IQ. Football IQ. He's always been very smart, and he knows when to scramble and like when to push it for the end zone. He's always done that, and that's what it always vultures his running backs, and I think that's going to continue. Nick Chubb has to pop him off, otherwise Deshaun Watson's going to steal him every single time. So unfortunately, you're going to start Nick Chubb. You're going to hope for the touchdown, but you're probably going to be disappointed.
I'm still okay with what Nick Chubb did last week. Like
he was okay, but it's just you want the touchdowns, right?
But like he was only on the field 50% of the time, which is a little interesting. But like it's the past couple of years against the Steelers, like he's played halfway decent against the Steelers.
Yeah, you never know with these divisional ones, man.
Yeah. It's. I mean, like last year he averaged about 20 points.
Was that with Brissett though?
One was with Brissett, and then the other was with
Watson.
Sean.
Okay. So yeah, you're going to start him, but just have tempered expectations, essentially.
Yeah. Are you starting Najee Harris?
I'm not in this one. Unless you have to. I mean, if you have to, you got to do what you got to do.
But about it, and I think this Cleveland defense is nasty.
Yeah, it's almost as good as San Francisco, basically. Yes. And we saw what they did last week. So,
it's for the pass catchers for Cleveland. Are you starting?
I think Amari Cooper,
Elijah Moore. I'm actually willing to start Elijah Moore.
I'm willing to start Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore, and that's it.
Yes. Yeah. Other than that, yeah. And for their tight end for David Njoku, I'd
prefer not to. Yeah, I would prefer not to.
Yeah, but that's about it. Are we starting the corpse of Allen Robinson?
Yeah, dude, you got 7 targets last week.
Oh,
Allen Robinson is still a decent wide receiver. Like I get it. It's fun to rag on players. I understand this. I have fun ragging on players too. You just heard me say I hate Derek Carr. There's really no logical reason why I should hate Derek Carr, but I do. I just hate Derek Carr. I get it. Right. It's fun to rag on players. But Allen Robinson, it never made sense to me. Like, he was okay for the Rams. He was not a wide receiver number 1 overall when he's playing next to Cooper Kupp. Right. What do you want from the guy? I don't understand the expectations.
He was actually a wide receiver 84, if that makes you feel
when he was playing, man. Come on now. Like, he was fine when he was playing. And last week, he was fine. He's the best 7th round pick trade of all time.
I know. Well,
so,
but are you still starting George Pickens?
I'm starting both of those guys, and I'm starting Pat Freiermuth, and that's it.
Oh, I am firing up Pat Freiermuth.
I think Pat Freiermuth is a very good addition to your dynasty teams right now because I think that the connection that him and Pickett have is pretty good, and I think that I think it's only going to get stronger as time goes on. So those 3 pass catchers, and I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to start Allen Robinson. I've fallen into the trap enough where I don't want it, and I'm not going to subject myself.
They got
to
throw the ball to somebody. Who's going to get all these targets?
If I don't care, it's going to be. I don't really care because they're going to lose this game. It's going to be an ugly, some ugly Monday night games. Unfortunately,
I know these are going to be rough games for Monday, man. It's not going to be fun. Not going to be fun at all.
And And then for Pittsburgh, unfortunately, like we found out that that Deontay Johnson is going to have. I think it's
going to be about a month.
surgery.
Yeah, Oh, he's getting the surgery. I didn't see that.
I think it was a surgery, is what I saw. But I will double check that.
Yeah, you can double check that. But yeah, it's not good. That's where again, Pittsburgh. It's going to be a dirty game. But yeah, if you have better options, lean somewhere else. This is going to be a rough one, but yeah, I think that Cleveland's going to get this W, and is going to be in the lead.
Yeah. It was just a hamstring injury. Is it? And then another note that on the defensive side for Pittsburgh, Cam Hayward has a groin injury, and he's going to be out for a while. So that's something to look out for. And so that hopefully means that Nick Chubb has a better game.
You mean more Deshaun Watson touchdowns?
That's going to make me vomit violently.
All right. So that is the final game for the Week 2 preview. Again, this is our first time doing this, so you're growing with us on this one. Let us know down below. You can hit us up with any comments, any feedback that you guys like it, you don't like it, you hate it. Our opinions are smart, Dale's dumb, whatever you want to say. But you can hit us up on Twitter as well at TDC_Calvin, at Dynasty_Dale. You can find the podcast at FF After Dark. And again, we're going to be putting out any injury or breaking news on there. Any videos that we need, we'll be putting those out on the channel as well. So just make sure you subscribe to the channel, come back and check in, and we'll be dropping any content that we need to. We'll be making sure that we keep you guys in the loop. That's what we're here to do, is help you guys. And again, I don't know if I said it on this one or the last one, but I went 5-2 last week. The only 2 that I lost was my 2 rebuilds, so I was feeling pretty good. It was it's not too hard to pick good players in the offseason, you know what I mean? Yep. So too many times people overthink things, and that's what we're trying to help you make it make sense. That's we're Mims over here, Marvin Mims, big fans, but make it make sense, because too many times these narratives just do not make any sense. So hopefully you guys like this breakdown. Let us know your thoughts again. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Dale, any last thoughts?
Nope.
All right. Until next time, thank you guys. Have a good night.